House dissolves to committee of the whole. I so move.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against the ayes have it. Honorable Low.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague, good afternoon once again. Report of the Committee on Finance on Land Use Charge Regulations. The House at the plenary session of Monday, 9th March 2020, took the second reading of land use charge and committed same to the Committee on Finance for further scrutiny. In line with Order 85-3 of the Business Rules and Standing Orders of the House, the committee organized a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, 12th March 2020 at the second floor Chambers Conference Room to seek inputs from concerned stakeholders in order to enrich the proposed legislation. Mr. Speaker, with your concurrence, I will go to 3.0 presentations. Mrs. Raji Abidemi, the Permanent Secretary Minister of Finance, informed that the regulations is to set the value of the annual charge rates to be applied to eligible properties in the state, and the need to also adjust the percentage in such a way that it will be easier for layman on the street to calculate his or her own bill. She also informed that the regulation is to further guide and enhance the performance of the ministry in terms of revenue generation in the state. She further canvassed for the figures in the regulation to be in percentage for wrong calculations to be avoided. Mrs. Chita Bay Titi Layo, the Solicitor General to Permanent Secretary Minister of Justice, informed that two things involved in the calculation of the land use charge: the building and the land. Even if the land is vacant, it is still a property because it can be leased out, used as a mortgage, or used for further purposes. Hence, the owner has to pay tax on it, but it won't be the same amount as occupier. She also informed that the purpose of this particular tax was to provide social amenities to the populace, and that since the local government and local council development areas have ceded their right to the state to collect such tax on their behalf, the state has to provide those services as indicated in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Observations. Based on the oral submissions of the stakeholders, the committee observed as follows: that 1, the subsequent preambles to the regulations be deleted as the preamble on page 1 of the regulation covers all. 2, the land use charge annual rate was amended as follows: in paragraph 8, delete the figures 0.000394 and replace with 0.0394% in parentheses 0.000394. 2, in paragraph D, insert the figures 0.00132 after the figures 0.132%. 3, in paragraph E, insert the figures 0.00132 after the figures 0.132%. In paragraph F, insert the figures 0.00394 after the figures 0.394%. In paragraph G, insert the figures 0.00394 after the figures 0.394%. In paragraph H, delete the figures 0.0000394 and replace with 0.0394%, or in parentheses 0.00394. And in paragraph I, delete the figures 0.0000394 and replace with 0.01%, or 0.0001. Under the land use charge annual relief rate, insert new paragraphs 8 and 9 as follows: item vacant properties, rate 10%, to be granted at the discretion of the Honorable Commissioner for Finance. 9, open empty land, 20% to be granted at the discretion of the Honorable Commissioner of Finance. Recommendations. Based on the aforementioned observations, the committee hereby recommends as follows that 1, the subsequent preambles to the regulation be deleted as the preamble on page 1 of the regulation covers all. 2, the land use charge annual rate is hereby amended as follows. Paragraph A, delete the figure 0.000394 and insert 0.0394% in parentheses 0.000394. Paragraph D, insert the figures 0.00132 after the figures 0.132%. Paragraph F, insert the figures 0.000394 after the figures 0.394%. Paragraph G, insert the figures 0.000394 after the figures 0.394. Paragraph H, delete the figures 0.000394 and insert 0.0394% or 0.00394. And paragraph I, delete the figures 0.000394 and insert 0.01% or 0.0001. Under the land use charge annual rate, insert new paragraphs 8 and 9 as follows. Vacant properties, 10%, to be granted at the discretion of the Honorable Commissioner of Finance. Open empty land, 20%, to be granted at the discretion of the Honorable Commissioner of Finance. Conclusion, the committee expresses gratitude to Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Dr. Mudashiru Obasa, and members for the opportunity given to carry out this assignment. Appreciation also goes to the Clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of the assignment. Thank you. Rotimiolo, Chairman, House Committee on Finance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Council.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I therefore move that the recommendation as read out by the Chairman, House Committee on Finance be adopted
What do
for
you mean
debate.
recommendation?
Thank you.
The reports.
The report as presented be allowed
Adopted for
to be
debate.
adopted for the debate.
Honorable Togo.
I second the motion as
All in
moved by
favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Who goes first? If there is no comment or reservation on the reports and the recommendation made by the chairman, which I think is a straightforward recommendation that does not demand much debate and argument, we should then go ahead and adopt the recommendation. Yes, who has the Honorable Togo?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the report as presented, the recommendation of the committee as presented be adopted as the resolution of the House. I so move.
Honorable Victor Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. The next report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A report of the Committee on Finance on new stamp duty design and electronic franking regulations 2020. The House at the plenary session of Monday night, March 2020, took the second reading of stamp duty, new stamp duties design and electronic franking regulations 2020 and committed same to the chairman, to the Committee on Finance for further scrutiny. In line with Order 85.3 of the Business Rules and Standing Orders of the House, the committee organized a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, 12th March 2020 at the Chambers Conference Room to seek inputs from concerned stakeholders in order to enrich the proposed legislation. Again, we want to
Go from opening, continue from opening.
Okay. Honorable Ari, Chairman, Committee on Finance, welcomed participants to the meeting and stated that there will be no excuses of non-performance when it comes to revenue generation, and that the committee has been mandated to examine the rationale behind the regulations, especially the newly introduced electronic stamp duties, in order to inform the House and the executive on the same page in terms of revenue generation. He informed that the trends in the international oil market are not favorable to Nigeria, as the 57 per barrel benchmark in the 2020 revenue projections are dropped to $30 as a result of the COVID-2019 outbreak in January 2020, which ultimately translates to reduction in the federal allocations to states. He emphasized on the need to look inwards and be proactive in revenue generation and management, while enjoining parties to contribute meaningfully to the proposed legislation by bringing their experiences on the job to enrich the regulation. Presentations. Mr. Waidi Ogunori, the Commissioner for Stamp Duties, Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, informed that the process of moving from manual to electronic stamp duties started in 2018, when the state government invited vendors from overseas to bid for the supply of the required specimen for the state. He further informed that new Post International from France, which has its regional office in Cameroon, met all conditions for the required specimen and was awarded the contract to supply the machine. He explained the workings of the new stamp duties, which have a lot of online security visuals, which allow authentication of both stamped documents and amount paid at the press of a button. This initiative, according to him, not only increases revenue by blocking leakages and preventing sharp practices, but it also simplifies and brings the entire stamp duty processes closer to the taxpayers. The Commissioner further informed that the new stamp duty machine is online and can be tracked from the headquarters of the Lagos State Internal Revenue at any time to generate revenue reports on the amount generated as well as the location where the document was stamped. He confirmed the expansion of the stamp duty offices in the state, which means they have moved closer to taxpayers and they can generate more revenue from stamp duty. He further stated that the new die has been forwarded to the State Executive Council and approval has been granted, since part of the Federal Act requirement was that if any state wishes to move or change the die for a stamp duty, such changes has to be gazetted in the Federal Act. And for that to happen, the state governor or whoever is in charge must approve, and the approval of the State Executive Council was what was sent to the House for ratification, so that the changes can be gazetted at the federal level. Mrs. Shitabe Titilayo, the Solicitor General / Permanent Secretary, Minister of Justice, informed that the law stipulates that changes to state stamp duty procedures have to be in Federal Gazette, and that the state has to notify the federal government that a die has been changed, so it will be in public notice, as well as being published in a Federal Gazette. Observations. Based on the oral submissions of the stakeholders, the committee observed as follows: that 1, the stamp duty administration in the state has changed from analog to digital. 2, that the new digital stamp duty machine has been supplied to the 6 stamp stations in the state. The die of the new stamp duty machine has a lot of security features to block revenue leakages and sharp practices. The operation of the stamp duty machine is online and can be remotely tracked from the head office. And 5, the new stamp duty machine can generate reports both on the amount generated as well as the stamped document. Recommendation. Based on the aforementioned observations, the committee hereby recommends that the new stamp duty, stamp design and electronic franking regulations 2020 be approved by the House as presented by the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LRS. The committee expresses gratitude to Mr. Speaker and members for the opportunity given to carry out the assignment. Appreciation also goes to the Clerk of the House and the Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of the assignment. Thank you. Rotimi Olo, Chairman House Committee on Finance. Thank you. Sign.
Honorable Jude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this report should be adopted for debate by the whole House.
I can't hear you.
So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this report read by the Chairman Committee of Finance be adopted for debate by the whole House.
Thank you. Honorable Olumo.
I hereby second the motion as
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Yeah, we'll go first. Well, the chairman, I just want to ask of recent relating to this request. There was a pronouncement from, I think, National Assembly concerning this, in relating to amendment or sort. I'm sure. I just want to find out if you check before your conclusion on this request. So we won't be doing something that is somehow against the what is it called, the position of the...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. According to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Justice, she made us to appreciate the fact that the stamp duty is not under the prerogative of federal government alone, but what they stated is that we just need their notice for Federal Gazette, and that is the only thing, that we are not running against each other.
And they are not doing anything to change that position at the federal level. That is what I'm asking.
I don't think they have started it.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would have...
Honorable Togo.
stopped us.
Thank you, sir. I just want to observe and to be more informed. The chairman, House Committee on Finance, in his report, says that he confirmed the expansion of stamp duty office in the state, which means they have moved closer to taxpayers and they can generate more revenue from stamp duty. What comes to my mind is, will that machine be provided for in all local government and LCDA, or we still have to come to allow that? Because when you said they have moved closer to taxpayers, so that means, my own opinion, that it will be to local government and LCDAs.
Honorable Akonde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my own opinion about the recommendation, I felt Mrs. Shitabe Titilayo's position should be captured in that recommendation that the federal government need to be notified, just in case of the Gazette.
Capture where?
The Mrs. Shitabe Titilayo, in her submission, said that they have to inform the federal government. So in the recommendation, we should say that it should be recommended that they should be notified.
That is the duty of the ministry. When we have granted your request, so they will have to notify, not so. Yes, Honorable Lowe, your response.
Yes, thank you very much. Honorable Togo, you know, prior to now, they were only using one. And what they have done is to move to 6 now. And apparently, it's going to, they'll be more accessible. And as time goes, they can now do what you are suggesting, but it was from 1 to 6. And apparently, when you have 6 machines now operating simultaneously in different parts of the state, apparently, when we were talking to them, one is going to be for one division, or each division. Then one will be retained in the head office, so that they can get closer to the people. And that's what we meant by that statement, closer to the people.
Okay, who is moving motion for adoption as well? Yeah, Honorable Togo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to move that the recommendation of the committee be adopted as the resolution of the House. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
I second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, after robust discussion at the Committee of the Whole, I hereby move that this House revert back to plenary. I so move.
Honorable Nureni.
I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against no, the ayes have it. Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, at the Committee of the Whole, Honorable Olowo presented two regulations, one on land use charge and the other one on stamp duty. On land use charge, we recommended that we talk about we amended some regulations, and on new stamp duty, we also talk about recommendation for approval has been presented by Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. I want to say that that was what happened at the Committee of the Whole. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Kaile Joseph.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to affirm that the recap presented by the Deputy Majority Leader reflected the true deliberations at the Committee of the Whole.
Honorable Council.
I rise to second the affirmation.
All in favor say ayes. Those against no, the ayes have it. Laying of report, Honorable Shokunle.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, fellow colleagues. I am here this afternoon to lay a report of the Committee on Health Services on the Emergency Coronavirus Pandemic Bill 2020, ISOLE.
Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, what we have now is presentation of reports on the emergency coronavirus pandemic bill 2020. I wish to move that this House resolve to Committee of the Whole. I so move.
Honorable Togo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against no, the ayes have it. Honorable Shokunle.
Once again, good afternoon. Report of the Committee on Health Services on the Emergency Coronavirus Pandemic Bill 2020. Introduction. The House at the plenary session of Thursday, March 26, 2020, deliberated on a bill for a law to combat and stop the spread of coronavirus pandemic in Lagos State and for connected purposes, and committed same to the Committee on Health Services for further deliberation in line with Order 12, Section 83 of the Harmonized Rules and Standing Order of Lagos State House of Assembly. Proceedings. 2. Given the urgency and short time frame of the assignment, the committee swung into immediate action to deliberate on the bill. Members of the committee are as follows: Honorable Shokunle Oshodi 1, Chairman; Honorable Yusuf A.A. Alimosho; Honorable Engineer Ishao; Honorable Elliot D.O., Mr. Omotayo A.A. Secretary; Mrs. Esheta, Legal Advisor. Recommendations. After extensive consideration, member came up with the following recommendations. 1. In interpretation section, redraft the definition of essential services to read means provider of services such as food supply, pharmacy, shop, water supply, petrol filling station, and other relevant agencies. 2. Still under interpretation section, insert the definition of coronavirus means severe acute respiratory syndrome virus known as COVID-19. 3. Create a new section 3 with a side note, procedure for declaration, to read procedure for declaration 3.1. In furtherance to section 3 above, the governor may, by instrument, publish in the official gazette of the state issue of declaration of pandemic emergency in the state or any part of the state. 2. A declaration issued by the governor under this law shall cease to have effect. A, 2A, if it is revoked by the governor by instrument published in the official gazette of the state, or B, after a period of 3 months has elapsed since it has been in force, provided that the house may, before the expiration of the period of 3 months, extend the period of declaration of the emergency to remain in force from time to time for a further period of 3 months by resolution passed by the House, or at any time after the extension referred to in paragraph B, when the House revoked declaration by simple majority of all the members. 4. Create a new subsection 3 in section 2 to read as follows. 2.3. Nothing in this law shall preclude the head of each arm of government from structuring its own restriction in accordance with the provision of this law. 5. Redraft the side note of section 3 by inserting the word contingency after the word relief. 6. Redraft section 3.1 of the bill to read as follows. 3.1. The governor is empowered to incur the kick-off expenditure sum of 20 billion naira to combat and stop the spread of coronavirus pandemic. 7. Create a new subsection 2 in section 7 to read as follows. 7.2. Where the arrested person is found guilty, the person is liable to a fine of 100,000 naira or 1 month imprisonment or 3 months community service. 8. Create a new subsection 4 to read Coronavirus Trust Fund. There is established a trust fund named Coronavirus Pandemic Trust Fund to be managed and controlled by the governor. 2. The fund shall consist of funds and donations from individual, private, public, and international organizations. 9. Delete section 8 of the bill as section 9.2 as provided for this. 10. Section 13.4, line 5, delete the word 3 and insert the word 2. 11. In section 14.2, line 2 to 3, delete the word reside or. 12. Delete section 15 and replace with a new section to read offenses and penalties. 15. Where no penalty is provided for any offense committed under this law, the person shall be liable to a fine of 200,000 naira or 3 months imprisonment or both. In section 16.2, line 3, delete the phrase, and such leave shall be with pay. 14, create a new section 17 with the side note to read employment of retired medical practitioner. 17, retired medical practitioner and health worker in special field on demand may be re-engaged and duly remunerated for services rendered. 15, delete section 19 of the bill. 15, delete subsection 19 of the bill. 16, create a new section 21 with a side note to read information and enlightenment. 21, the Ministry of Information and Strategy shall continually sensitize and adequately inform the people of the coronavirus. 17, create a new section 22 with a side note to read power to make regulation. 22.1, the governor may make regulation in respect of this law before making recourse to the House. 22.2, such regulation may be in accordance with subsection 1 above, shall be brought before the House within 5 days of the regulation for the resolution of the House. 22.3, where the regulation is not approved or brought before the House within 5 days, the said regulation becomes invalid. Conclusion. The committee expresses its gratitude to the Right Honorable Speaker and members for the opportunity given to carry out the assignment. We wish to thank the Clerk of the House and Committee Secretariat for their support at ensuring the timely completion of the assignment. Honorable Shokunle, Chairman, House Committee on Health.
Honorable Low.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the report of the committee be adopted for debate. Thank you.
Honorable Kazu.
I second the motion as moved.
All in favor say aye. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Who goes first? Honorable Temitope Adewale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My observation is the new section 22 with the side note to read. Power to make regulations. The governor may make regulations in respect of the law before making recourse to the House. Such regulations made in accordance with the subsection 1 above shall be brought before the House within 5 days. I think you should read within 5 working days. 5 working days of the regulations for the resolution of the House. Subsection 22, subsection 3 should also read 5 working days, sir.
Honorable Satonji.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. My own observation is on the second page, the declaration of the emergency to remain in force from time to time for a further period of 3 months. The letter B participates when the House revokes the declaration of by simple majority of all the members. I believe it should be all members present at the plenary, because the implication is that if the House does not form, if we are up to 40, that means, I mean, we cannot revoke the declaration. So I believe it should be present at the plenary as long as we form quorum. That's my view, sir.
Honorable Lumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm looking at, sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. Section 4 and Section 19 were considered earlier for having conflict with the federal law, but Section 19 was deleted. I don't know why Section 4 was left. Yeah, the federal law, sorry, sir.
Where is that? Where is that?
Section 4, where it states that effect of policy and pronouncements of the governor, where it talked about federal agencies in the states. Old one. In the old one.
Which old one?
I mean the old bill, the
What
first
do
one
you
that we
mean? These
considered.
the reports. So they have worked on it. That is why we are treating the reports.
Yes.
So
What I'm saying is that
I can also what you are talking about in Section 4. The drafted side note Section 3 by certain contingency. 5. Okay, 4. Create new subsection 3, Section 2 to read as well. To include head of each arm. Honorable Lu.
Section 4, what is canvassing for, it has to be deleted because the presence of some federal governments in the bill itself.
Is it in the reports?
No, that means the report did not consider it. But what we deliberated on is that because they don't want to run foul of that agency of government that is federal in character, that why not delete that? That's what we also say.
You don't have to delete it. We only remove federal agencies. That is all. We still have right to close the road. The governor can make pronouncement that no movement. So what we don't have the power over is the federal agencies.
That's what I'm saying, sir. If you look at the Section 4 of that bill, it talks about that, but it has not been deleted in their recommendation.
And they have removed it.
They've not removed it.
Well, even in the way the report is being couched, it cannot reflect everything. Okay. It cannot reflect everything that we have removed it, we have removed this, we have changed this. So until we get to the final this thing.
My own submission is that the committee has done a great job, and to a larger extent, they've been able to address all those observations. And again, just like what you said earlier, Mr. Speaker, it's an emergency situation. We must give it emergency solution. Hence, Mr. Speaker, with the leave of my colleagues, I will want to say we adopt the recommendation of the committee.
People putting on light, so let's listen before we adopt. Honorable Tobo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just trying to think aloud. Section 8 this trust fund, where I agree that the governor could control but I was thinking that a trust fund where we'll be receiving donations, grants, and, this governor is good, he can, but this is a law. I'm of the opinion that we can make them have like 2, 3, at least like a board. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you. And besides, we should have people who will be part of the exercise. So since it's going to be donations, so they can also follow up on how such fund is being expended.
Thank
and
you,
it's
sir.
not limited to fund only, and materials. You
Thank
can
you,
have companies that are willing to donate materials and other things. So I think that area should be looked into.
Thank you,
So
sir.
there should be bodies that will, and I think the governor cannot even have enough time to supervise such funds. So there should be a board involving representatives of the government and the people, the representative of the public as well. So that can be monitored, and that will also reinforce confidence in the public in the way and manner the fund will be expended. Honorable Ajani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also in reference to the newly created section 22, sir, if we look at the first section of it, the governor may make regulations in respect of this law before making recourse to the House. I would also like to add a sentence to that, sir, saying, except if such regulations prevent the House from sitting. That's my submission, sir.
I don't think that's even well covered. This is a bill that has empowered the governor. So if the governor is going to make a regulation upon this power, it should make recourse to the House, not after. What we are doing here is to enable the governor to do, exercise some powers that will, be of help to the society in the case of emergency. So what we have in this bill, I think, should be enough for a start to face the challenges. As time goes on, there's need to add more through regulation. The governor can write to the House requesting for the approval, not after. I don't think the regulation part should be allowed, but coming back after 5 days is something that I have reservation about. Yeah, Honorable Desmond.
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker, I just want to be schooled a bit. Because it's an emergency situation, sir, what if the governor needs to make, a regulation real quickly?
To do what?
What if the governor needs to make a regulation real quickly, and we are not sitting, maybe on a weekend?
The most important thing to be done, make announcements. If we have to restrict movements, we have given that power. You need money, we have given that power. To make pronouncement, we have given that power. So whatever that will come as an unexpected, then I don't think it will affect whatever we want to do to relieve those who are concerned. So there's enough time to come to the House with the regulation and approval of the House. So it's like doing this, it's like allowing the governor to operate without limitation outside the law. I can't imagine what would be necessary to be done that this bill before us has not taken care of. Honorable Laiwola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to reverse to page 3, sir, the last page in the report. The report is well couched, is very well delivered, but I need to call our attention to the new section that has just been created. That's information and alignment, sir. Mr. Speaker, I believe information and alignment should not be left in the hand of Ministry of Information and Strategy, sir. It shouldn't be left with them, but all relevant agencies, such as Ministry of Health, traditional rulers too, could be involved too. We should engage the services of traditional institutions, our obas, our community leaders, should be involved too. Religious
And
bodies.
you put all that in the bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Minister of Health and Information, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Tijani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Section 12, the committee recommend 200,000 naira for the penalty, and the sum of 200 million was written in the report. I think that needs to be corrected.
Where do you have to? Okay, shall be liable for fine of 200. Okay, 200. That is an error. You should know that is an error. That is an error. Well, Honorable Lowe, can you move your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the recommendation of the committee as amended become the resolution of the House. I so move.
Honorable Lumo.
I second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Deputy Majority.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, after robust discussion, I wish to move that this House revert back to plenary. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
I rise to second the motion as moved.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, at the Committee of the Whole, we discussed about essential services, coronavirus disease, procedure for declaration, offenses, employment, and we also empower the governor to kick off expenditure of 20 billion naira to combat and stop the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. And we also talk about establishing a trust fund, which will be named Coronavirus Pandemic Trust Fund. And we also talk about donations from individual, private organizations, public, international communities. So we also talk about that too. I want to say that that was what happened at the committee of the. I want to talk about we also recommended for adoption. It was unanimously adopted. I want to say that that was what happened at the committee of the whole. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Tobo.
Thank you, sir. I want to affirm that was the true recap of what transpired at the committee of the whole.
Honorable Kasumu.
I rise to second the affirmation.
All in favor, say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Yeah, Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues.
Okay, you may take your seat. Let's take that last. Let's do with the. You may take your seat. Yes, sir. Land Use Charge Regulations 2020, pursuant to the Regulation Approval Law of Lagos State 2015. This House do hereby approve the Land Use Charge Regulation 2020. All in favor say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Stamp duty, new stamp duty design and electronic franking regulations 2020. Pursuant to the Regulation Approval Law of Lagos State 2015, this House do hereby approve stamp duty, new stamp duty design and electronic franking regulation 2020. All in favor say ayes. Those against, no. The ayes have it. Yeah, Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I wish to move that House of Assembly Bill number 8 on Emergency Coronavirus Pandemic Bill 2020 be read for the third time. I so move.
Honorable Kende Joseph.
I right to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. Mr. Clark.
Right, Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, I wish to respectfully read for the third time a bill for a law to combat and stop the spread of the coronavirus pandemic in Lagos State and for connected purposes. Thank you, sir.
A bill for a law to combat and stop the spread of coronavirus pandemic in Lagos State and for connected purposes. The Lagos State House of Assembly enacts as follows. Section 1. 2. Section 3. Section 4. Section 5. Section 6. 7. Section 8. Section 9. Section 10. Section 11. Section 12. Section 13. Section 14. Section 15. Section 16. Section 17. Section 18. Section 19. Section 20. Section 21. Section 22.
22, sir.
Section 23.
22.
Section 24. Section 25. That's a bill for a law to combat and stop the spread of coronavirus pandemic in Lagos State and for connected purposes be passed into law. All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it. Mr. Clerk, kindly pass the clean copy to Mr. Governor for his assent. I say thank you to you, all my colleagues and the support staff for your dedication and perseverance. I thank you. Your approach, Deputy Majority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, in line with Rule 11 of the Rules and Standing Orders on the use of Yoruba language, I wish to move that this House resolve state back to Yoruba language. I so move.
Honorable Tijani.
I stand to second the motion as moved.
All in favor say ayes. Those against nay, the ayes have it.
Ẹ ṣeun olùdarí. Nígbà tí a ti parí iṣẹ́ ti tòní, mo dá lábàá pé kí ilé yìí pé kí a sún síwájú di ọjọ́ kejì nínú oṣù kẹrin nínú ọdún tàwa yìí ní gẹ́gẹ́ aago 10 gẹ́gẹ́. Mo dá lábàá.
Aṣòfin Saka.
Mo gbé àbá náà lẹ́sẹ̀.
Ṣé gbogbo wa ló fara mọ́? Àwọn tí ò fara mọ́, àwọn tó fara mọ́ ló pọ̀ jùlọ. a sún ìjókòólé síwájú títí di ọjọ́bọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì oṣù kẹrin ọdún okòólélẹ́gbàá mo gbéra sọ.